Hey guys, happy June. I am here to share my progress for last month. I had a pretty exceptional stitching month. I have 3 finishes to show you, which is a lot for me. So the first thing I finished, if you follow me on Instagram, then you saw this. I had mentioned that I wanted to finish the Save the Stitches blackwork sampler for my mom for Mother's Day or somewhere around Mother's Day, and I did. So this is Save the Stitches. I'll do a separate finish video for this one, maybe just showing the sections that I decided to change, because I did change a few, and some kind of overall close-ups. So the very bottom section here, you have Save the Stitches, the year, and then your initials. I kind of wish I had made my initials bigger, but I mean, I'm probably going to leave it now. The year I did change. On the pattern, it's 2014, and I wanted to make it 2015, but I couldn't like figure out how to make the 5 in that font. So I ended up picking a totally different font for the numbers. They're a little jammed in there, but I think you can read them. So yeah, tiny alteration there. Like I said, I'll do a separate video on this just to show some close-ups as well as some of the changes I made. A lot of that had to do with the fact that, as I've mentioned before, I didn't stitch the actual patterns with one strand of DMC. That's what was recommended. I used pearl cotton for the entire thing, so I couldn't get the same amount of kind of delicacy that the single strand of DMC would have given me. So that's the main reason I had to change some things. I just had to simplify, because if I did everything in the pattern, because my thread was a little bit thicker, it just ended up looking kind of muddled. So I will talk more about that and all my supplies and everything in that finish video. Next, maybe I'll show you what I didn't finish, which is red. I am very close. I am just doing the beading now, but I think I've discovered what my issue with this is. I haven't really been wanting to work on this, and I think it's because I am sick of that invisible beading thread. I wish I had just beaded with like one strand of DMC, like a cream color to match the fabric. And I still might do that, actually, if I get really desperate. But that beading thread, just at the best of times, it's frustrating because it's invisible and it's slippery, so it's hard to anchor. And if you're like me, like I tie both ends together at the end with my needle threaded, so it's like a big loop. Because that's the easiest way for me to anchor it. But then the problem is that if I like mess up, I put the wrong bead on and I have to try and take out my stitch and I can't, then I have to cut the thread and try to anchor it again, and it's a whole nightmare. So this is this is my beading progress. I've just done the hood and the edge of her cloak here. I attached the treasures on her shoulder, and then I've just started going down into her dress, and you can see I just like left the beading needle hanging in here with a bead on it. Maybe let's secure that a little bit more. Okay, it's off to the side now. So I can't decide truthfully how I feel about this. Oh, so I'll show her face. I showed this on Instagram, but I did all the back stitching obviously, and I made a couple of changes in her face. I changed her lip color to be red instead of pink, and I also changed a little bit of her eye. I gave her an extra eyelash here at the front, and then I gave her a little bit of winged liner at the back. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with how her face came out. I think it's beautiful. I think my issue with this overall is that it's a lot busier than I thought it would be. there's all these different colors of beads, and the dress is gonna be full of beads, and this back stitching, like, I didn't realize that like the leaves were stitched in a lighter color. It just feels like there's a lot going on in this pattern. Not that that's a bad thing, but this is my second Mirabilia ever. My first one was Mermaid of Atlantis last year, and I just think I really enjoyed that one much more. Just the way it came out in the end. I don't know what it is about this one that's putting me off, but something is. Obviously I'll finish it. I might, like I said, abandon this invisible thread and just put the rest of the beads on with like a cream color. I don't think that'll make a huge difference. No one will ever be able to know. I will know, but I'm sure it'll stop bothering me eventually. Just anything to get it done. So, oh, I'll show you. These are the treasures here in the shoulder. That's the first time I've attached any of those. Oh, and I did go with, I mentioned last time, I was waiting for some metallic to come in. And again, Instagram. My Instagram is always linked down below if you want to check it out. I suppose I do share a surprising amount of progress, like month to month. So I decided my metallics came in. I ordered a black, a gunmetal, and like a blue-gray that wasn't gonna work. I picked the gunmetal. So you can see it a little bit in the back stitching of her shoulder here. The difference is it just has a little bit of a silver dimension to it as opposed to just being solid black. Here it is in the dress or the cloak. So it just has a little bit of silvery sheen to it. Yeah, so this is still a very beautiful pattern. I'm just a little bit disillusioned with it for some reason right now. But my goal is obviously to have this finished by next month, considering I don't have very much left on it to do. I think just changing the beading thread I'm using will be enough to kind of spur me on to finish it to the end. I don't know what my deal is with that invisible thread right now. It feels like such a pain in the butt. This is the metallic I chose, by the way. It's Krennic number 4, 010 HL, which is high luster, and it's just gunmetal. So compared to the solid black, this is the solid black, and this is the gunmetal on the bottom here. So that's the one I picked. So as I mentioned, I have 2 other finishes to share, and those are 2 of the Dinky Dyes seasonal samplers. So the first one I stitched was, oh God, it's stapled and I forgot I stapled it. This one, Summer's Garden Gate. And the second one I finished is the Spring Hearts sampler. And I'll show those in just a second, but first I have to air a small grievance. So while I was stitching these are relatively simple patterns. There's no DMC in them. You buy the silk pack. It's usually like 3 Dinky Dyes silks, and then the rest, the only other thing that's required in the pattern is a bead and some Krennic. So, but here's my issue with it. The pattern, it seems like poor formatting. You know when you try and type symbols, and instead of, maybe I have this the wrong way around, but if you're trying to format it as a PDF or as a Word document and then you try and format it as something else, some of your symbols get kind of jacked up and you get like those weird, like they just don't transfer well. I feel like that happened here because the key, and I'll show you the key, all of the symbols are wrong. So, like, here's the information for the Summer's Garden Gate. And you can see, here's the key. The column on the right is what came with the pattern, I think. Yes. And the column on the left is what I had to write in because nothing matched the pattern. Like, so the only one that was correct, or there were two that were correct, I guess. So this one at the top was correct, the dot. But the next symbol down, this funky little thing, that is nowhere to be found on the pattern. This is the symbol on the pattern. So I had to go through and looking at like this tiny picture, coordinate which threads were used where and identify what the actual symbols were. So that was hugely disappointing. And I'm sure it is a formatting issue because like this little A with a circle over it, like that's not anywhere on this pattern. The Krennic, like represented in the pattern, is represented as this square. This is nowhere. So that was so frustrating. Luckily, as I said, there are very few colors in these patterns, so it's not very difficult to figure out what is supposed to be what, but it was still disappointing. And I emailed the contact, I forget, there were two names, Kathy, I think, and I think Kathy was the one I emailed on the Dinky Dies website, just saying, it seems like the key of symbols is wrong. Like there's no corresponding symbol. It doesn't work. Can you please, like, I don't know, for your information, maybe your patterns were formatted incorrectly and then the symbols that were used in the key are no longer represented. I don't know. But I never heard back, which was really disappointing. Like I said, I managed to stitch it anyways, but customer service wise, I was not very impressed with that. I still haven't heard back, and I'm thinking about emailing them a second time because guess what? Exact same problem with this one. I don't know if all the patterns are going to be like this, but it is very frustrating to say the least. So I'll show you again. Here's the key for spring hearts, and the column on the right here is what they gave. Is that right? No, the column on the left is what came with the pattern, and the column on the right are the actual symbols in the pattern. So these on the left are nowhere to be found. It is all in error. These on the right, the ones I've drawn in, are the actual symbols. So yeah, just frustrating. And I'm not looking forward to doing that 2 more times for the rest of these seasons, and then probably another time because I also have that wave dancer pattern. And Amanda, I know you stitched this one, the Spring Hearts one. Did you have this problem? Did I just get like a weird batch? I mean, I did, as far as I can remember, I ordered these from the actual website, from dinkydies.com or whatever it is. I'm pretty sure I did. So there's no reason for this to be like a weird version of this pattern. But anyways, okay. Rant over. I will show you the finished work now. Hilariously, I stitched them both on this one piece of fabric. I originally, when I bought each of the patterns and kitted them up, I bought one piece of this fabric for each of them. So I have 4 of these. And then when I sat down to start it, I realized that each sampler is only 4 inches by 11 inches. So I could fit it comfortably on half of this piece of fabric. So I just have them side by side, which is kind of funny. So, okay, I'll show you this one first. Let me just fold it over here because I can do that because they're both on one piece of fabric. This is the Summer's Garden Gate sampler. I had a really good time stitching these. They went by really fast. There is not a lot of pattern in this pattern. Like I was expecting it to be harder or to take more time, and it just didn't. Like the bands are really small and everything is really easy to stitch except for the horrible like misrepresented key. So yeah, I really enjoyed especially these little dragonflies, which made me think of you stitching, May. So yeah, this, I'm not sure why I picked this one first. I suppose because it's gonna be summer, and I think this is the one the colors appeal to me the most. This other one I just finished. This is the Spring Hearts. This is very pastel. I like a pastel, but this is maybe a step too far, like even for me. It's very pretty, and I enjoy that there is some commonality between them. Like from what I've seen, the other two as well end with some sort of piece like this at the bottom. So I really like that consistency. Beads. It seemed like this had a million beads in it in the pattern, and I didn't even put them all on. I think I skipped a band where I was like, too many beads. I'm not doing it. And it still looks like a lot of beads. I did this one with the invisible thread, the beading, which again I hated because I was doing this as I was doing red, and I just hated all of it. This one I beaded with one strand of the pink silk that's included in this kit, and you totally can't tell. I mean, maybe you can, but it's fine. It's 100% fine. So I think in the future I might just bead with cotton floss instead of invisible thread, and that would be a huge relief. So that is the Summer's Garden Gate and Spring Hearts samplers. Those are those samplers. Those are my two other finishes this month. So for WIPs right now, I just have red, and I've started the third Dinky Dyes sampler, which I'll show you in just a second, even though I have virtually none of it actually stitched. Stitched like 2% of it. So this is the next one I started. This is the Autumn Fire sampler. I remember when I ordered these, I didn't order these bicones. I don't have anything to put at the bottom here. There's like actual like gems that are supposed to go at the bottom. I don't have those. And I think because I ordered this, I want to say I ordered them from the Dinky Dyes website, but maybe I ordered them from Stitching Bits and Bobs. I know they sell the same packs on both sites, like the pattern, and then there's the silk pack, and then there's the embellishments, like the krennic and the beads. So I can't remember, but I couldn't get the bicones either way. So I don't have the treasures that are supposed to go on the bottom of here, and I don't really know what to do in its place. I might just find, if there's only 4 of them, I might just find another bead in my collection. It's like a bigger one or something. I'll figure it out. So I just started this yesterday, and the good news is the key seems to be okay so far. I haven't made any changes yet, although this symbol for the bead, this looks like this weird funky Q. I can guarantee that's not the symbol that's in the pattern. But it's the bead, so it doesn't matter. It's just, I'll just be like, every time I see the bead symbol, I'll know it's the bead. God, that has been so disappointing. So disappointing. But this one seems to be okay. So maybe I did just get like a weird batch where they printed it off and packaged it up before someone realized that the formatting was kind of wonky. Hopefully. So this is what I have done on Autumn Fire. I wasn't joking. I've done literally 2% of it. And I'm doing it sideways on this piece of fabric again, so I can put the winter one on this side. So I've just done, not even the entire top band, just this little flourish. I was stitching this with Matthew. Hi Matthew! Can this be a thing where I just like shout out your name in every consecutive video I do? Weird, sorry. And I was saying that this particular variegated thread goes from like a really strong orangey red to a yellow, and there's not a lot of transition in between the two colors, which is the scariest variegated thread to me because I like to control things, and this is just not as smooth as I would like, and I am still not sure how I feel about this. Like, I don't like that one of the leaves is yellow and the other one's red, and I wish I had stitched this top leaf differently so that the yellow would be more balanced on the other side, but whatever. This is an exercise in me letting things go. And it looks fine. I mean, it's fine. So, but I saw that variegated silk and I was like, oh boy, that's very variegated. So, that is what I worked on this month. 3 finishes, you guys, and like a possible 4th finish, like so down to the wire because I got sick of beading on it, which is red. So for WIPs right now, I have red, and I have this Autumn Fire sampler. I have the final mini mandala to do, the 3rd one, which I haven't started, but I will probably start this month because I like to do things in groups, as you can tell. Like I did 2 of the seasonal samplers from Dinky Dyes, and now I just kind of want to do all of them because they seem like they all go together. But I totally have a space open because I finished Save the Stitches and I don't know what to do. So I'm thinking I want to have a Mirabilia going all the time because, or until I get sick of them, because I have a lot of kitted up Mirabilias. But I will start another one when I finish red. I don't want to have 2 going at the same time because that will make me even less likely to finish beading on red. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I have a lot of things kitted up that I should definitely totally start. I think I just have to go through my little stash box and just figure out what to do. Help me. If you saw me kit up a project in like a previous video or a haul and you want to be like, McKenzie, don't forget about that project. Oh my God, leave it down below because I am at a loss right now. I could literally stitch anything. I have those, the ones that are coming to mind are the peacocks and pinwheels, I think is what it was called. It was a Tempting Tangles pattern and it was all silk. And it was like a peacocky kind of sampler. What else do I have up there? A million Mirabilias. I gotta go look, you guys. Obviously, I have to go look. But that is it for this month. Thank you guys for your support as always. My Instagram will be linked below if you want to check out my progress. Matthew's Instagram will be linked below. Just kidding. It might as well be. And yeah, I look forward to watching all of your WIP videos, although mine is probably the last one to go up because it is already June. But, oh well. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, hi again, guys. So I just ran upstairs quickly to have a peek into my kitted up stash, and surprisingly, I only have, here's what I have. I have the 5th Dinky Dyes sampler, which is Wave Dancer, the one with the dolphins. I probably won't do that until I'm done the seasonal ones. And then I have a million Mirabilias, which I already said I'm gonna wait until I finish red. And then I have these 2. I don't have as much kitted up as I thought I did. So, tell me which of these 2 you think I should start. I have Peacock Pinwheels, which I mentioned, which is a Tempting Tangles design that comes with these crescent colors, silks, cotton. And then I have from Papillon Creations the Quaker game board that I bought last year and forgot how much I enjoyed. And these are both just like full cross stitch. I don't have threads for this one. I just have fabric. But it's Aida. It's 18 count Aida. That's how long ago I bought this. But this is all just DMC and there's only 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 colors. So fairly easy to kit up. I could also do one of those patterns I just got, like the Schoolgirl sampler or that Prairie Moon one. Okay. You know what? Let's keep it to these 2. Let's keep it to these 2 and or something that sticks out in your mind from a haul I did. Tell me what to stitch next. If I am undecided and or I have some extra time, this is the month I should probably start an embroidery project. because I did just get some fabric for that, and I think it will take me a little bit of time to kind of get it together. And actually this would kind of be the perfect month to do that. So, decisions. So help me pick. Peacock pinwheels, Quaker game board, or something else that you remember from a haul I did. It's homework for you. Okay, thank you guys. Have an excellent week. Bye.